One of my subscribers asked me if I would do a review of my lathe, and I told him, well, I did one, but that was when I first got it. And let's see, I got it last August, so I'm looking at about 7, 8 months that I've had it, and I've done a lot of turning since then, so I think I'm considerably more qualified to give you the pros and cons about it. First, let me start to go over what you get when you buy it. First thing you get is something that is damn heavy. You better have at least 2 friends, or I used a tractor and an engine hoist to get it in here. I don't remember exactly, but I think it's somewhere around 760 something pounds. It outweighs the comparable robust by about 100 pounds, and just about all of them. It's got a 48-inch bed, has 12-inch from the center of here to your bed, which means you theoretically can turn a 24-inch bowl. Now, you also can take the headstock and, well, I'm not going to do it. It slides all the way to the far end. So you could turn something, that goes down to the floor. You would just have to arrange a different, tool rest scenario. All right. Okay. It incorporates a 3 horsepower, 220 volt, 3-phase motor. And of course, it's wired down to run on regular 220 single phase. And it's awful powerful. You need to learn to respect the power because it is unforgiving. Unless you loosen the belt, you will not stall it. So, that's something you need to be extremely cognizant of. Let's see some of the features. Of course, it has a hand wheel on the end. It has a spindle lock. Now I'm going to go over some of the modifications I made at the end. So if you see something now, just sort of ignore it till I get there. So it has a spindle lock. It has indexing. I've never used the indexing. I'm not into segmenting or nothing like that. I may be someday, but not now. All right, on the you can't see it, but it has a place to hang all your tools, like your big old spindle wrench and stuff like that. It also comes with a tray underneath. I do not use it. To me, it was just sort of in the way. I didn't like it. Well, to be perfectly honest, it wasn't very well constructed. It used a single octagon post to go all the way from end to end, so you could slide it like this. But what it did is it rattled. And I don't like rattles. So I don't use it, and I probably wouldn't anyway if it didn't rattle, because it's in the way. When you go to clean and stuff like that, it's just in the way. You just don't need it. Okay, it also comes with a cage, and it's up there. I've yet to see anybody use one, but I guess OSHA or somebody requires them. So they put them on it, and that costs you a few more bucks. It's not necessary, but that's the way that goes. Okay, the banjo, of course, the ways they're cast. They're not stainless like a robust, but they're not hard to keep clean. I use like cooking oil, granola oil. I've had guys say wax works best. Well, I tend to disagree with that, because I use cooking oil and WD-40, and I try to wipe it down every day, because if you leave anything like some moist shavings on it, you'll come back with rust the next morning. Trust me on that one. All right, the banjo it's a huge banjo, and it's pretty good. It's you buy a new one, you'll have to have all new tool rest, because the difference is right here, or you'll have to have some sort of adapter one. But the banjo's huge. Now, this is sort of jumping ahead, but when I first got this thing, every time I would go to move this, it would make the god-awful noise. So what I found out is, after I took this apart, you got a long shaft in here that that you use to tighten it up. Well, when they turned it, they rough turned it. It's not smooth turned. So when it slid through the holding deal here that holds the bottom piece on, it just made that. So I took it all apart and sanded it down and got it where pretty smooth, but it's still makes a little, but before it was extremely irritating. Now you wonder why I'm wiping it off, because you guys made me clean it up. I mean, I normally keep it blown off. Anyway, okay, and we come down here, it's a very nice tailstock. I've noticed a lot of them, they come out here like this, and it really restricts you. This one basically comes directly down. It has a 4.5-inch travel. It's smooth and it locks and all that kind of good stuff. That's nice. Now I'm going to show you one of the features on here that I just love this feature. And here it is. I'm go over here and make sure now that we can see it in the camera before I start running my mouth. Okay, good, we can. I'm going to turn it just a little more. There you go. Now I love this feature right here. The handle right here, take that off. This swings totally out of the way. You can bring the headstock down here and you can turn from right here if you want to. Quite frankly, I've never done it up. I don't know why. Well, I do too, because when you bring it forward, I got to move all my crap over here. And I'm too lazy. All right. So that is an outstanding feature, my friends. And this is stock. You know, this is not an extra thing. This is the way it's made. All right. Now, let me see. What else? What did I miss? I don't know what I missed, but I'm sure I missed something. All right, let's talk about some of the things that I did different. And I did them because there's something I didn't like about it, and I'm the type of person that if I don't like something, I try to fix it. Well, I forgot to move the camera back when I was covering some of these items, so I thought I would hit them with a little handheld here to show you. Talking about the spindle lock, it has this little bitty old knob right here. It only runs about that far, and what happens is when you flip it around, it's just really easy to forget you got it there, and when you go to turn it on, well, it doesn't work. It just what it does is slips a belt, which is not good. But you normally catch it real fast. But I put this on just to remind me that that's the position it's in, and then I'll flip it back like so. What I'm going to do, I'm going to change this rod out to another one, and what it's going to do is going to contact a switch right here to turn the power supply off, and then when I flip it back, I'll turn it back on, sort of run. So, you know, Robust does that, and that is an outstanding feature. First thing I turned on this, and I did a video on it, I was doing a big, large wing bowl, and it came out to about here. And what I found is it just really white-knuckled me to work the speed control by reaching way around or walking around, because this thing was swinging right here, and your speed control is right here. Now, I didn't go over these, but you've got a speed control, it's a potentiometer is what it's called technically, and you know, there's your speed control. Now this is your on-off switch, a forward and reverse, and then you've got a reset in case something with electronics need to reset. This is your emergency off. Get a real close look at this. That's my speed control, and the toggle switch to switch it to the other end. And we come down here, and here's the knee emergency switch I put in, and the other potentiometer speed control. All right, to elaborate a little bit on your speed controls, you can see here that you've got a belt position A and a belt position B, and it goes from the A goes from 60 to 1,000 RPM, and the B goes from 200 to 3,500 RPM. And those figures are accurate within 2 or 3 RPM. Now the change of belt, it is really simple. You can see it in here. You can see the pulleys. They're solid pulleys out of aluminum. And what you do is you come down here and you loosen the motor if you can, and you pull it back up into this position. And I'm doing this with one hand now, and you lock it back up there, And this lets you move the belt real easy to the other one, and then you just basically drop the motor back down like that. And I put a little tension on it, tighten it back up, and you're good to go. So that's how you do the belts. Very easy, very efficient. At first I was concerned about the size of this belt, but that really doesn't concern me. They ought to be cheap. You ought to be able to take this off and go over to Napa and buy one. Getting it off is probably no fun. You would have to remove your hand wheel. Well, that's all you'd have to do. And it has two Allen set screws, and there they are. They're easy to get to. So that's a no-brainer. But you can see, if you can see real close in here, you can see those. So we can get anywhere to focus. You can see those holes right there. That's your indexing and your lock. This has right here has a pin that locks it. Okay, let's get on with it. Magnetic, flip it up. Never has failed me. I mentioned, going around here like this. Now what I didn't like that. So what I did, I'll go over here a little bit. I put another potentiometer down at the far end, and I wired it in basically to interrupt the power supply to this one. So I put it on a toggle switch so I can go down this way or this way. You turn it on here just a second. Okay. Now I put an LED right here so that I know which one it's on, and I flip it over there and you have an LED down there. Of course you know which one's on anyway because one of them don't work. So that's the way I do that. Now, you come down here, and one thing else I didn't like about it, right now it's in the position, this stays on right here, this 24/7 type deal. And it's just, I don't know, maybe the power is only to this right here, but I know that it's getting power, and in case you had a lightning strike or something like that, that would, it'd blow these electronics in here, and that's where the money's at. So I put an emergency knee cutoff right down here. And here's the knee emergency switch I put in, and the other potentiometer speed control. So you can't see these real good in the video, so I thought I would hit you with them here. All right, let's get back to watching the other one. And there it is, and that interrupts the 220 both. It interrupts line 1 and 2 going to this unit, so it is dead in the water. And let's see, what else did I do? Okay. And the other thing I'm really not too happy with on this is that I think they could have given you a better warranty. I mean, in reality, if you stop and think about one of these things, it's not a complicated piece of machinery. It is not. Basically, you've got a spindle running with bearings. You have a DC controller in here that lets you spin this thing forward and reverse. That's it. Basically, that's it. I paid, including shipping and everything, I believe, I don't know the exact number, but I think it was around $3,800. I thought I'd take a minute and film a real quick little tip of the video. I noticed I was watching some videos the other day, and I was watching guys pour stuff out of a gallon, and it amazes me is how many people really don't know how to pour out of a gallon like this. You see them that, incidentally, I buy this stuff by the gallon. It's a whole lot cheaper to buy it on Amazon a gallon at a time rather than buying a bunch of these little spray cans and just get you a spray bottle and you got your lifetime supply. That's another tip. Anyway, getting back to the point, I see people pour like this, and what happens is, see how it does like that? I mean, if I really turned it up, it would like gulp for air. The way you have to pour this is you have to pour it either from this direction or from the side, because air's got to get in for it to pour smoothly. So I want you to see the difference here. See how nice and even this does? And that's it, my friends. one of the obvious things that we all take for granted, but you'd be amazed at the people who they don't think about it, and then they wonder why everything splashes all over the place. Well, that's it, my friends. So let's get back on with whatever we were doing. One more thing. When I first got it, I kept turning things, and I would put them back on or something, and they just wobble like hell. Well, one day a friend of mine was over, and we noticed that, and so we went and got a dial indicator and put it on here, and what we found was that this is a spindle shaft. It had a wobble in it. At the shaft, it was like 2/1000ths. By the time you brought it out here, say with a 6-inch face plate or something like that, or maybe a 12 or 10-inch bowl or something. I mean, it had like a visible, like probably, I'm going to guess, 1/4 to 3/8 inch, out of true. So I contacted Grizzly. They didn't much want to believe me. They said they never heard of that before. So I sent a video with several different angles with a face plate on it, and I also put the dial indicator right here on the shaft, and I also put it on a face plate and a chuck, and I sent them videos. So they finally said, "Oops, we've never had that happen before." Of course, I wouldn't expect them to say anything else. Not accusing them of being liars, but that's what they say. So anyway, they said, "Okay, we'll order you a new one. Can you put it in?" And I sort of fussed with them. I said, "Well, you just probably need to go ahead and bring me a whole new headstock out here and replace it." And they said, "Well, we don't have people to do that kind of stuff." Well, that struck me as a little weird. But anyway, I'm the type of person I can do that kind of stuff now. Most people would have to hire it done, or a lot of people, because it wasn't difficult, but it wasn't easy. Now, just getting it out, it wasn't difficult. You have a spanner nut right here. Of course, you have to take your pulleys off, and it just slides right out. It's nice and easy. But you got 3 bearings here, and they're pressed onto this shaft, and they were a son of a bitch to get off. I'm here to tell you. Luckily, I'm going to tell you how I got the new shaft in a second, but luckily I didn't have to take them off. I did because I just wanted to do it. But I had to use like a bearing splitter and press a whole bunch of stuff off. And I didn't ruin them, but I did ruin the spacer. All right. Well, anyway, so they said they'd order me a new one, so I checked back in a couple days. And they said, "Well, it'll be about 4 or 5 weeks. It has to come out of China because we don't stock that kind of stuff." And I'm sitting there and I'm saying, "China? Well, hell, they have planes that leave every day, And surely the factory's got some spindles in there somewhere." So, I fussed and fussed with them. Finally elevated it up to somebody with a little more authority, and I finally convinced them to take one off of a floor model. And they did that, and they shipped it to me. So I was only down about a week. And of course I put it in, and it's been fine ever since. And I insisted that they put a dial indicator on the one they sent me, because I didn't want to go through all the trouble and put it back on. So I did that. I think that was probably a fluke. I don't know. Haven't heard of anybody else having that kind of problem. But anyway, I love it. It does the job. They always say, you can turn little things with a big lathe, but you can't turn big things with a little lathe. So that's it, and hey, I appreciate if you got any questions, you feel free to put it in the comments. I'll answer them. I'll do the best I can. And share, like, and all that kind of stuff, and keep it working. Thank you.